Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here with another episode of Why Seam Wednesday. I love Why Seam Wednesday. I get to show you a bunch of really pretty blocks and that aren't normally done, and I get to give you templates for these blocks. And yes, it's a little tougher block, but we have to master our Y seams. At some point we end up mastering Y seams, and we're kind of like, okay, you know, we just have to do it and kind of like grin and bear it. But we're going to try and make these as easy as we can for you. And this one is called Easy 4-Point Star. Now I have stuff all lined up here ready to sew, but basically this is going to be just a big wide open lovely star. The pink star with Star Wars fabric. Yeah, I know, this is Star Wars fabric. I had lots of Star Wars fabric that I was going to use up. But first, let's get to our shout out. Our shout out is FutureCat from New Zealand. Now, we just finished filming the collaboration video when this one is being taped, where we did our borders, right? We put our borders on and our, cornerstones on the quilt. And as I was sewing that one up, I was just feeling so sad. This is over. It was kind of like, we had so much fun putting those blocks together and chatting with those other collaborators. And it's over now. I'm just so upset about it, but at the same time, it was such a wonderful experience. And I thought I would jump on the chance to do something like that again. No problem there, because I worked with some very talented fiber artists, and I just, I just want to point that out to everybody. Yes, we all got together and we did this, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would not hesitate even to say no. It was a lot of work, but it was so much fun. Now, their YouTube channel is going to be in the show notes below, and just like a wonderful, interesting, they do lots of things where they travel around New Zealand as well as quilting, and it's just a story of her life or their lives, and it's just great. You guys got to go check her out if you haven't already done so. So now, the next thing up, there's lots of things in those show notes, including their YouTube channel. So you got to get into those show notes. The Chaos Sew Along. Now, I'm not sure when this is being filmed, when it will start, or when we'll start to drop the video. So I can't tell you ahead of time, oh, this is what day it's going to start. But it will be mentioned in the show notes, right, about when we finally figure that out. We're going to put it into the show notes, so you guys are going to go looking for it. It's going to be a fun sew along. It's going to be queen size, and the subunits, the piece subunits, are going to be 4.5 inches square, or 4.5 by 8.5 inches, and it's a fun, lovely. I finally played around with my chaos block enough, and it looks beautiful. So we're not giving you any other spoilers other than that, but several people have asked for this chaos sew along, and we changed it up and we made it wonderful. We also have a Facebook group in there, and our Facebook group is growing strong, warm, welcoming. We're having so much fun in there. We have a virtual sewing room in there under Discord. You have to have a Discord app, and they're free, so it's not going to cost you anything. Just for the Facebook members only. We haven't figured out how to do it for all the YouTube viewers, but it'll happen. They just have so much fun in there. We do fabric swaps by country. We do free recipes. We go out and look for free patterns and post them online, so you guys can look at what other content or what other creators are putting out for free. And we just have so much fun in there. There's a chat for just anything. We have a blast in there. Also, we share pictures. We do all the same things that other Facebook groups do, so we have fun. Also, what's in the show notes is the Zoom sew dates from now until the end of December. I have not looked at 2025. We will get there, and once we do, we will start listing out dates for that. I promise you, because I have so much fun on those Zoom sew dates. I get lots done, and we get to chat with we try and chat with everyone to find out what they're working on and what they're doing, or what things they like, or who's their favorite fabric designer. Or we just ask a bunch of different questions. It's all fun. Now, if you are coming to the Zoom sew date and you don't feel like sewing and you want to bring your knitting, go for it. We're fine. We're just a place to come hang out and have a good time. Now, you also share, like, and subscribe our channel, right? As it would help. It helps us out, getting the word out what we're doing here for free. And if you have comments, even if it's just a heart, it helps our analytics and pushes our video forward. So we would just love if you could have the time to do that for us. That would be perfect. I know some of you watch on your phones and you know, like all these other devices, but I mean, that would help us out greatly. I think that's it. Oh, I speak for free. I speak for free to quilting groups and guilds, and I talk about elements of design. We talk about working with scraps. We talk about making charity quilts. So if your group or guild is looking for any of those kinds of topics for speakers, please let them know that I'm available. I do my presentations over Zoom. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I have a little mini trunk show of quilts that I've made over the years, because I've given so many quilts away over the years. I have to start taking pictures of them now. And I also give away or let people see the sneak peeks about what's coming up on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, that would help. So I guess we're done. Come on in, let's get to this fun sewing here for the easy 4-point star. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these off 2 at a time. Now I have no idea where's my foot pedal. Oh, my foot pedal is lost. Hang on. So I'm going to just go through like this, taking time to line these up. Now I'm going to sew the shorter bit together first. Now this is so easy. The templates in the, let's see, where is this? The templates in the show notes make this just a piece of cake to throw together. You just have to make sure they all just so nice. There we go. Here. Thing about Y seams is you just have to take your time. Y seams are not for speed. Y seams don't lend themselves well for speed. So that's kind of important. Okay, there we go. And the templates I've marked straight grain here on this piece. I also put the straight grain this way on this piece here, right, going up and across. And I just thought it made just a little bit more sense. I could get a couple more cuts out of my stuff that way. Somehow this is got discombobulated somehow, but anyways. Yeah. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But this outer edge, this straight grain here along this part is very important, because you want a straight grain on the outside edge of your block, right? Now you gotta handle these things too a little careful, right? Because they, you know, once you sew this together, you've got a big biased edge, right? So you don't want to be pulling. Your objective here is to steer, right? Steer only. And somewhere, oh, there it is. Okay. There. Well, I'll just get that. Sneak this under. And get the last one off. Okay, so now this I open. Right? I open with just my fingernail, and I don't pull, I more flatten. I just scratch it to flatten it. That's it. That's all I'm doing is flattening it. Right? And I'm just going to lay it out so you see. Right? You know, I'm not pulling on it and, you know, to, oops, there we go. And they just go all the way around. They look funny, don't they? They kind of this odd little shape. Now you can make the same block silhouette, right? With, you know, doing like triangles or half square triangles, right? I mean, you can do it, but There's something to be said about Y seams, that there's certain things that you can sew that just look amazing when it's on a Y seam, right? I mean, what comes to mind is Jen Kingwell's quilt there, Quilt Book, Mrs. Bannister's Star. The fact that that star goes together with 12 Y seams is, you know, daunting for some people, but it is a stunning, stunning block once it's done, right? So, yeah, you could put this together, I suppose, by, you know, half square triangles or something similar, you know, in half square triangles, but it doesn't look the same. There's an elegance to some of these Y seam blocks that are just, you know, if you master them, you master them. And then you get much better at doing all sorts of other things. So that's it. That's what it's going to lay out to be. This, like I say, this is a very busy background print, but it works. It does work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just take one and we're just going to start our way around. So now I'm lining up these points here, right? And here. Now, traditionally, you sew from this side and you've got a point, and when you hit that point, you pivot. Well, you already have a point. It's called the seam, where this seam intersects this 1/4 inch is where you stop and you pivot, right? Very simple. And you lay it out, you start sewing it, and as you get closer to that seam, you just sneak down and put your needle right in the seam, right in between where those two pieces meet. And now we maneuver this over and we line up the base, and suddenly this thing falls flat. Yes, it does. Woohoo! And there we go. We do the other side. There. Okay. That's fast. So let's do it again. Let's go this way. Okay, you line up there. You line up the edge. You go under. Oops, go under. This, it fell out of alignment, so. And I say you do steering, you don't do pulling. No pulling. Right? Okay. You go all the way up to where the seam is, and if you have to hand crank. There we go. Okay. Now that is what that looks like. Right? When you're done, that's what it looks like. And we're just going to put that one back. Now, again, I should have used brighter pinks. This would have been a fun block if we used brighter pinks. Or a Christmas print pink, because this is Christmas Star Wars fabric. Merry Force be with you. But that's okay. It doesn't look like a Christmas fabric at all when it's done. And I'm just going to sew on all the same sides first. Line it up. There we go. And again to your pivot point where your seam is. There, right in the middle. That's exactly where I needed it. There we go. Press this out. Very gently press with your fingers. Do not, don't scratch too hard. I didn't do this one. I didn't do a very good job on this. And you want to press out and away from your center diamond, right? So the seam looks like that when you're done. Okay. There we go. Now, this one, we're just going to hover over. There we go. Does it line up? Yes, it does. And no pulling. There we go. And the last one. Oh, okay. There. Oh wait, that's the wrong side. This side. Okay. All right, let's get this one. I don't want to mess them up. A very simple little block. Good thing it's the easy one. Okay, there we go. Now, if your material starts to go up, just with the needle down, just make sure, there we go. And press this out with your finger. There we go. There. Now, we just rotate this over, just like so. There we go. Now, we get the other side, and we're going to sew it on again with the Y seam on top. I know this is different than what other people do. I understand this is, everybody uses a little dot system, and you know, sometimes you have to. You know, you have to use the dots. There are blocks where you've got to use dots and several dots on a piece to make the correct Y seam, and I understand that. But, you know, we're not there yet. I mean, right now we're just playing around. We're having some fun with a block. There we go. Just like that. Here. I mean, dots are important, but if on a simpler Y seam block like this, you know, if you can get away with just doing, you know, a simpler method, it's actually, you know, faster, right? Okay, here we go. And there. Okay, and line it up perfectly. There we go. Whoops, half a stitch back here. Okay. Now, on Y seams, if you don't stitch, if you miss that point where you have to pivot, you have a hole. If you are too far over, you will have a stitch show through the front. And I'm just going to show this to you a sec here. There's no stitches there. Like no stitches on either one of those points, right? That you can see. Okay, there we go. Because that's important too, right? Like, this is why these Y seams are, like, when I'm doing it this way, I don't ever end up with a stitch. You know, I might end up with something not lining up exactly the way I want it to, but for the most part, I mean, I don't have a problem. Okay. There we go. Okay, line it up. Okay. Having those little ends, those template ends carved out the way they are, that's the other thing. That helps you line up. You know, like this is not like a line. This is kind of got a little carved out bit here on top, right? That also helps you line up your blocks as to where your position needs to be, right? So that's kind of important to have that there. Okay, I'm just going to lie this flat like so. There we go. And like I say, gently, because that seam is bias. There's bias on that seam, right? So you want to make sure that you're not ripping it. And last one. Oops, last one is this. Okay. Oops. Lost. And lost. It's lost this way. There we go. Now. Okay. Scratch. Scratching like a cat. There. So, I'm lying really flat already. I haven't touched them with an iron, right? So that's kind of important too, right? That if they're lying flat, you sew it all together, and you know, you get it together before you iron it, right? As flat as you can before you iron it, and then it's easy with your clapper just to you know, take the rest of it off. Okay, so now we've got all the subunits done, right? And we don't have any missing stitches. We don't have any, you know, we don't have any holes. We don't have any puckers either, because we're pivoting at the right spot, right? Okay, so now this thing goes together like a 4-patch, right? Okay, so you're gonna flip this over and flip this over, and you're gonna sew this. And I'm just going to line up these, because you can't nest, right? Because nesting here doesn't work because your seams are open. And I'm going to try and nest this so it stays nice and square. Okay. Now this is straight grain, so you can get a little more, you know, rough with it. You know, it's okay. Get down there and go lift up so you can over all of that stuff. Okay. Now there. Okay. And there. Here we go. That's one way. Now, we're just going to go through the other way. All right. There are a lot of seams coming to that center. So one thing I found is if I went like this, right, I could reduce some of the block. Basically, when you're putting your blocks together by, you know, open seam, right, you're redistributing the bulk in that block. The bulk hasn't gone away. It's just been redistributed, right? So I'm just going to get this out of the way. And, you know, and that's okay. So now, let's put this under and get this all sorted. Now, I want to see what's going on with that Y seam. So, I'm going to open it like this. I'm pressing this bottom one down that way, and I'm pressing this one this way. Right, so I'm getting a little bit of nesting. That helps guide me. Okay. There we go. Okay. Just about there. Okay. There. Okay, hopefully we were in the needle down position, so. Okay, now I'm going to line this up the best I can. There we go. Now, okay, so now let's see what we got. We have one going one way and the other one going the other way. So we're just going to pop this open and break it so that this seam swirls a bit, right? And this one goes the other way. And that one will now go this way, and that one will go this way. So we do swirl our centers, but it's still bulky, right? Because there's a lot of fabric in that area. But I mean, it is what it is, and we just have to, you know, do the best we can around it. So let me give this a good press with an iron, and I'll come back and do our ta-da moment. Okay, so here's our ta-da moment. Now, the pink should have been a little darker, a little deeper, but I think it's fun. It's a fun block, and it goes really well with the Christmas Star Wars fabric. Merry Force be with you. Every time I see this fabric, I laugh. It's kind of an on-running joke in this house. One of the things too, there's two pieces here that join perfectly matched points right here in as we go through, right? As we're going through, you could take that and put colors in there instead of a neutral or a low volume, and then you would have an 8-pointed star, and you could use scrap fabric for this. I think this would probably fit in a jelly roll, like a jelly roll strip, like, you know, 2.5-inch strip. So yeah, you could play around with this and put some different color in and have a great time with it. Like I say, go scrappy, right? So you would have two different colors here in this area, right? So you have to kind of look at the pattern when you get it sewn. It's sew one and then you go, oh yeah, now I know what she's talking about. So I do hope you give this one a try. It was a lot of fun to put together for you, and it comes together quickly. Now you could just do a whole bunch of these as like a leader ender kind of thing, and it would work out great because you mastering your Y seams. This is the objective, right? To master that Y seam. So anyways, I hope you have an amazing week ahead and life is treating you good. Okay, you guys take care until we see each other again. All right, bye. Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, you know, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure and quilting. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!